Okay, assalamu alaikum guys. All right, I want to do some recapping from today's class. Obviously, you all know it was very noisy, so we didn't really have a nice class. All right, we spoke about scientific notation. Guys, the scientific notation is used for very big numbers and very small numbers. Again, guys, we use scientific notation for very big numbers and very small numbers. Why we use it is because imagine now you're writing a number 250 trillion, right? Or you're writing a very, very small number, 0,00000012350, blah, blah, blah. It continues like that. So for these type of numbers, guys, it's always better to use a scientific notation. Scientific notation tells us to use those big numbers and small numbers on the power of 10. That's why in all the questions you will see, we use the numbers on the power of 10. 10 to the power of 5 or 10 to the power of 8, 10 to the power of -3, 10 to the power of -5, so on. So now, what happens is this. When the number is very big number, means the number that is bigger than 0, a positive number. Our power, guys, is always positive, right? And when the number is very small number, obviously it's less than 0, then our power is going to be a negative number. So we use the positive power for very big numbers as identified at the beginning, and we use the negative power for very small numbers. Okay, now I would like to continue from this example, guys, even I showed you during the class. So I'm going to do it again. Right, as I'm doing it, I'm going to draw it, guys. So if you look at the example, in this example, you will see now it's 153 million, right? So when we have a number like this, now you're gonna think now, where is this comma? We're gonna move the comma, but where is it? There is no comma here because the comma comes in when there is decimals. So the whole numbers, obviously, they don't have decimals. Then we assume that the comma is right at the end of the number. So it is going to be here, right? So when we're moving the comma, we're going to start from there. We're going to start from there until we're going to obviously, from right to the left. So from here, I'm going to start, then I'll come this side, right? From right to the left until I have only one digit on my left-hand side. Then I'm going to stop, right? So I'll stop. Now, if we look at this number from here, if I start and I come this side, then if I stop here, guys, right? After 5, if I stop, I will have only number 1 on my left-hand side, right? So that means now my new number is going to be from there. So what happens is this, the main thing, guys, is to get rid of these zeros, right? So when I stop there, it's going to be 1.53, right? The zeros will be removed, and I'm going to count from here till here. How many times I move the comma, because that is going to be my power, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So my power is going to be 8. And then remember, guys, after this point, I'm going to rewrite this whole number without zeros. Zeros won't be there. So it's going to be 1 comma, because I stopped here, 1 comma 53 times 10 to the power of 8. Again, why power of 8, guys? Because I move the comma 8 times from right to the left. From right to the left, I move the comma 8 times. That's why my power is going to be 8. Okay, so again, I stop until I have one digit on my left-hand side. As you can see here, I start by 1. So only 1 is on my left-hand side. Okay, so we said we have only one digit, guys, on our left-hand side. So 1 is on my left-hand side. Then I'm going to rewrite the number without the zeros. So I'll remove all the zeros. So my number will be 1, 53. times 10 to the power of 8 because I moved this comma 8 times from right to the left. Okay, so if you look at the explanation also, guys, I said we'll assume that the comma is at the end of the number. Obviously, it's a whole number, so comma can't be in between, because if comma is somewhere else, say if after 15, then it's going to be a decimal number. It's not going to be a whole number, right? Then we said to write this number in scientific notation, we start moving the comma from right to left. Guys, for positive numbers, we go from right to the left until we have one digit left. For very big numbers, again guys, very big numbers, we go from right to the left. From right to the left. Please do not forget this. Right. Then what we say, okay, we say from right to the left until we have one digit left on our left hand side. Then the power is the number of the time we move the comma from right to the left. As you see, we said the power is 8 here. Why it's 8 is because I moved the comma from right to left 8 times. That's why my power is 8. And then the power is a positive number. The power is a positive number. For very big numbers, my power is a positive number. And then when I'm working with very small numbers, then my power is going to be a negative number. Okay, so we said scientific notation we use for very big numbers and very small numbers. Now let's look at the very small numbers. We said the same rule applies for very small numbers, right? The difference between the very small numbers and very big numbers. How do you work with these numbers? Now, for very small numbers, guys, we move the comma from left to right. Remember, here, for very big numbers, guys, we moved from right to the left. So I started from the end of the number, then I went to the left until I have only one digit on my left-hand side. Then, for the very small numbers, we move comma from left to the right. As you see, guys, this arrow is going from left to right. So the power is going to be negative number. Okay, let's look at this example. We see this example here, guys. It's 0,00318. Okay, so this is my number, very small number. Now I'm going to write this number in scientific notation. And remember, my rule tells me I move the comma from left to the right. Again, guys, for very big numbers, we move the comma from right to the left, as you can see here. And for very small numbers, we move the comma from left to the right, again, until I have one digit on my left-hand side, or I should say, until I get one digit on my left-hand side. So, as you can see, guys, the comma is here, right? So I'm going to start from here until I have one digit on my left-hand side. So, from here, 1, 2, 3. So now if you look at 3, guys, 3 is on my left-hand side, right? So I'm going to stop here. The same rule applies here. When I stop here, I'm going to look at this, guys, the number without zeros. I'm going to write it without zeros. So I stopped after 3. So my number is 3.18. Ignore the zeros. 3.18 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Why negative 3? Because I moved the comma 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So after 3, as you can see, 3 now is on my left-hand side. So I'm going to stop there. Now I'm going to rewrite this number without zeros. So it's going to be 3.18 times 10 to the power of negative 3. I'm saying negative 3 because remember we use negative power for very small numbers. And because I moved the comma 3 times from left to the right, that's why the power is going to be negative 3. Okay, so now let's look at the examples on page 30, guys. So some of you have asked me today, what if we don't have zeros, what's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen, guys. The only aim is not to get rid of zeros. The aim is not only to get rid of zeros. The zeros, we're going to have to remove them anyways, regardless of anything. Right, let's look at this number. As you can see, guys, 3728935. Okay, this is my number. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this number. How am I going to write this in scientific notation. So the rule was this again. We're going to start again, guys. This is a whole number. Remember, there is no decimal. So comma is not somewhere in between the numbers. So we assume that comma is after the last digit. So the last digit is 5. So after the comma is going to be here. So it's a very big number, guys. I'm going to start from right to the left, guys, from right to the left. I'm going to go move the comma from right to the left until I have only one digit left on my left hand side. So I'm going to stop there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Guys, as you can see now, I'm going to stop here because now 3 is on my left hand side and 3 is the only digit on my left hand side. So I'm going to stop here. Remember, guys, when we have 0, we remove the zeros and we write only the numbers. But here I don't even have any 0, so there's nothing for me to remove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this number with the comma. So comma is coming after 3, as you can see, guys. So I'm going to write it like this. And then I'm going to say times 10 to the power of 6. Why 6? Because I moved comma from right to the left 6 times. That's why I'm going to say comma to the power of 6. Okay, let's look at the second example. Okay, B. As you can see, guys, it's 173,529. Okay, this is a decimal, as you can see, right? But it's 173, guys. It's a big number, so I am going to do the same thing here, guys. So first I need to see, I'm going to look at this number, see where the comma is. Remember, I'm going to move the comma from right to the left. So where is my comma here? Am I going to start from the last number? No, I won't, because I can see where the comma is. They put the comma here. So I'm going to move this comma again from right to the left until I have one digit on my left-hand side. Okay, so I'm going to say 1 and 2. So now the 1, guys, is on my left-hand side, right? Then I'm going to rewrite this number. So basically, I move this comma 2 times from right to the left. So my number, if I rewrite it, it's going to look like this: 1,73529 times 10 to the power of 2. Why 10 to the power of 2? Because I moved the comma 2 times from right to the left. That's why my power is going to be 2. Okay. Okay, let's look at C. 0,0000605. Remember, guys, for very small numbers, what we're going to do now, it's other way around. Look at here. Remember, as you can see this arrow, guys, so it's going to go from left to the right. For big numbers, from right to the left. Now this is, guys, as you can see, it's 0,00 is very small number. That's why I'm going to go from left to the right again until I get one digit on my left hand side. Okay, so it's, as you can see, now comma here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So as you can see now, 6 is on my left hand side. I'm going to stop here, guys. So my number is going to be 6,05. Now the question is this, guys. You may be asking me now, why we're writing this 0? So one of the aim was to get rid of zeros. But guys, this 0 is not after the numbers. The 0 is between the numbers. That's why obviously I'm gonna have to keep it. This 0 is between the two numbers. That's why I'm going to keep it. If it was after 5, then I would have removed it. But now it's between 6 and 5. That's why I'm going to keep it. So my number now is going to look like this. It's 6,05 times 10 to the power of -5. Why -5? Because 5 times, guys, I moved this comma from left to the right. Okay. Now, let's look at D. Okay, it's a similar question, guys. Look at the question here, 0,007832. So I'm going to look where the comma is. Again, I'm going to move it from left to the right. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to stop here. Why? Because I got one digit on my left. So now 7 is on my left. So it's going to be 7. Guys, remember, we're going to remove the zeros. Now I'm going to rewrite the number with only the numbers. So 7,832. 7,832 times 10 to the power of -3. Why -3? As you can see, I moved the comma 3 times from left to the right. So my number is going to be 7,832 times 10 to the power of -3. Okay, let's look at E. Okay, E is also, guys, again, a very big number, 7,500,000. Okay, so my power is going to be positive, guys, because remember, very big numbers, we use the positive power. So I assume that, guys, because it's a whole number, it's not decimal, so it's, the comma can't be anywhere in between the numbers. So that's why we're going to take the last number, guys. Assume that this comma is at the end of this number. Then I'm going to start from here, right? I will move the comma from right to the left until I have one digit on my left hand side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to stop here now because I have only one digit on my left. It's 8. So 8,75. I'm going to remove all the zeros. Now times 10 to the power of 7. Why is 7, guys? Again, please do not forget this. Because I moved this comma from right to the left 7 times. That's why it is my power. Okay, so my number is 8,75 times 10 to the power of 7. Okay, let's look at F. Okay, 0,006. Right, 0,006. My power is going to be negative because it's a very small number. And then, remember, guys, for very small numbers, we move the comma from left to the right. So I'm going to come here. The comma is here. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop here because even if I want to carry on, I can't carry on because there's only one number, which is 6. Now I took 6 on my left hand side. I'm going to stop here. Then it's going to be, is there anything else after 6? No. So I'm going to say 6 times 10 to the power of -3. Why -3 again? Because I moved this comma from left to the right 3 times. That's why my power is going to be -3. Okay. The last one, guys, is 158 times 158,023. Okay. 158, guys, is a big number, so my power is going to be positive. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Then, guys, as you can see, the after 158, guys, you see 0023. So there's a decimal part. So what I'm going to do is this. Since it's a big number, the rule is the same. So I'm gonna move this comma from where it is to left hand side until I have only one digit on my left hand side. Then I'm going to stop there. Then I will write this number again. Okay, let's do that. Then it's going to be, guys, as you can see, the comma is here. I'm going to move it to left, 1 and 2. Now I have, guys, the comma after the one digit. So it's going to be 1,58,002 times 10 to the power of 2. Why 10 to the power of 2 again? Because I moved this comma 2 times from right to the left. Now again here, guys, you may have some question mark on your mind. You may have been thinking now, why we didn't remove these zeros? As you can see, guys, these zeros are between the numbers. I cannot remove them. If it was 1,582300, then I would have removed them. But because these zeros are between the numbers, that's why I can't remove these zeros, guys. I have to keep them. Okay. And then, guys, the only thing you may get confused with is, guys, is this. When I tell you, you're gonna go from left to the right or right to the left until you have one digit. You may be thinking now, it's a bit confusing, I understand that. Now, when we are going, say, for big numbers, guys, from right to the left, I come here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I passed few numbers, 3 and 5. But, guys, the thing is this, in both cases, because the other one is inverse operation of the other. Like for the big numbers, we're going from right to the left. Obviously, you're going to pass few numbers until you have only one number left on your left hand side. And then for the negative numbers, guys, okay, just let's look at this here. Okay, so now from left to the right. So it's basically, guys, when you're going from left to the right, the first number you see, then you put a comma after the first number, right? So for small numbers, guys, very small numbers, we're moving the comma from left to the right. Once I see the first number, I put the comma after that. And then just look at this example here, guys. For big numbers, I'm going to move the comma from right to the left, guys, until I have one digit on my left hand side. So basically, I'll keep I'll put the comma just before the last digit when I'm going from right to the left. I pass all the numbers, I'll only keep one on my left hand side. So at first sight, guys, it may look a bit complicated. Yes, it is. I'm not saying it's not, but you guys, you have to practice. It's all about practicing it. Please practice it. Maths is always about practicing. If you don't practice it now when you're listening to this record, you may say, okay, now I understand everything. I know this. It's very easy. It is very easy. But the thing is this, guys, you have to study continuously. If you don't practice it, then you're going to forget it tomorrow. Tomorrow when you come, now you're going to say, yeah, okay, look at it. What was this about? I forgot this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Please, to get rid of all of that, guys, we need to study very, very hard, especially this time. Please, guys. All right, everyone. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you will all understand it and you enjoy this. Thank you.